Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen, and enjoy my stories every day. The evening air is brisk, carrying the scent of rain that promises to fall before midnight. The street lamps cast a dull orange glow over the near-empty parking lot adjacent to the community center, where Mara practices her oriental dancing twice a week. Usually I wait in the comfort of our car, scrolling through emails or catching up on sports updates. But tonight the parking lot is unusually full, so I find myself at the nearby bus stop, shivering slightly under my thin jacket. I pull out my phone to text Mara, letting her know where I am. Just as I'm about to press send, a movement at the corner of my eye catches my attention. It's Mara and her dance coach, Leon, emerging from the side entrance of the building. They're laughing about something, their heads tilted close together in a way that seems more intimate than friendly. I pause, the message forgotten, as I watch them walk down the dimly lit path that runs along the side of the community center. My hand tightens around the phone. Leon says something that makes Mara throw her head back in laughter, her long hair cascading beautifully in the light breeze. They stop walking. My breath catches in my throat as Leon places his hands on her shoulders. I tell myself to look away, but I can't. The scene before me unfolds like a slow-motion clip from a movie I never wanted to star in. Leon leans in, and to my horror, Mara doesn't pull back. Instead, she meets him halfway, their lips touching in a kiss that lasts long enough to shatter any doubts about its nature. A cold, sinking feeling settles in my stomach. I had always joked about how dedicated Mara was to her dancing, never missing a single session, always practicing her steps at home. And here it is, the reason for her unwavering commitment isn't the dance, it's him. The phone in my hand buzzes with a reminder of a message I'd started but never sent. Rage bubbles up, mingling with a profound sense of betrayal. I need to confront her, demand explanations, but as they break apart and continue down the path, a different kind of resolve takes hold. Instead of storming over, I stay hidden, watching as they part ways at the street corner, Leon heading towards his car, and Mara walking towards the bus stop where I am supposed to be waiting. My mind races, thoughts fragmented and sharp as broken glass. By the time Mara reaches the bus stop, my features are schooled into a mask of calm I am far from feeling. "Hey babe," Mara greets cheerfully, leaning in for a kiss which I mechanically return, my mind screaming in silent protest. "You won't believe how much progress we made today. Leon was just telling me." "I saw you," I interrupt, the words slipping out colder and more detached than I intend. Her smile falters, her eyes widening as she realizes what I'm implying. "What are you?" With Leon I continue, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. "I saw you kissing him." The color drains from her face. She opens her mouth, then closes it, the excuses dying before they reach her lips. My heart pounds a furious rhythm against my ribcage as I watch her struggle for words. This is not the confrontation I envisioned, but as the initial shock fades, a plan begins to form in my mind, a plan for revenge, not just for the betrayal but for every lie that bolstered it. Tonight as I drive us home, the silence in the car is suffocating, charged with the unsaid and the undone. Mara looks out the window, her expression unreadable. I keep my eyes on the road, my mind working through scenarios, discarding and refining. By the time we reach our driveway, the seed of my revenge is planted, watered by the bitterness of betrayal. As we go to bed in silence, Mara broken by the confrontation, I lay awake, plotting how best to turn the tables, to give her a taste of her own medicine. The morning light creeps uninvited into our bedroom, casting long shadows across the floor. Mara is still asleep, her face peaceful, a stark contrast to the storm that raged between us last night. I slip out of bed, my mind already turning over the possibilities of revenge. But first, I need an ally, someone who can guide my thoughts, mold them into something tangible. I decide to meet with an old college friend, Derek, who now works as a private investigator. He has always been the kind of person who knows things that can bend situations, and sometimes even break them. We arrange to meet at a quiet cafe downtown. When I arrive, Derek is already there, sipping a strong black coffee. His eyes are sharp, taking in my disheveled appearance with a knowing glance. "You look like hell, man. What's going on?" Derek asks, concern edging his voice. "It's Mara," I begin, the words tasting bitter. "I caught her kissing her dance coach yesterday." Derek whistles low. That's rough. What are you planning to do? I want to make her regret it, I say, the anger resurfacing. I want her to feel what I felt. Derek nods, his expression serious. Revenge is a tricky business, buddy. You sure you want to walk that road? I hesitate, but the image of Mara and Leon together hardens my resolve. Yes, I'm sure. All right, Derek sighs, pulling out his phone and tapping away. I know someone who can help set things up. Her name is Lisa. She specializes in, let's call it creative solutions for delicate situations. Minutes later, Lisa walks into the cafe. She's nothing like what I expected, small and unassuming, with a sharp glint in her eye that tells me she's more than capable of handling herself in the underworld of schemes and retribution. We talk, the three of us, hatching a plan that feels both terrifying and exhilarating. Lisa suggests a few scenarios, each more diabolical than the last. We settle on a plan that involves subtly introducing doubts about Leon's fidelity and intentions towards Mara. Make her see him for who he really is, a cheater playing with the hearts of his students, Lisa says with a cold smile. Once she sees the truth, the heartbreak will follow. I nod, feeling a strange sense of satisfaction mingled with a twist of guilt. But it's quickly overshadowed by the thought of revenge. As we finalize the details, Lisa hands me a small digital recorder. Just in case you get cold feet and want evidence to confront her with later. Always good to have an insurance policy. With the plan set and my new insurance tucked in my pocket, I leave the cafe. The world seems different now, darker, more uncertain, yet I stride into it with a purpose I haven't felt in days. When I return home, Mara is waiting, her eyes red-rimmed from crying. She reaches out to me, but I gently push her away, not ready to let go of my anger or my mission. Please, can we talk? She pleads, her voice breaking. Later, I say, my voice colder than I intend. I have some things to take care of. As I head to the garage, pretending to look for some old tools, I feel her eyes on my back, filled with confusion and hurt. The plot has just begun to thicken, and as I prepare to set everything in motion, I wonder just how far I'm willing to go to see this through. The days that follow are a careful dance of distance and normalcy. Mara tries to breach the cold wall I've built around myself, while I continue to push her away, keeping my true intentions concealed. Each morning, I leave the house with a briefcase full of empty promises and a heart full of schemes. Today, however, is different. It's the day the plan goes into action. Lisa's network has already started laying the groundwork to expose Leon's duplicity, not just to Mara but to others who might be swayed by his charm. I meet Lisa at a small, nondescript office space she uses for meetings of a sensitive nature. The room is stark, with only a steel desk and 2 chairs. The air is thick with the anticipation of the unfolding drama. Everything is set, Lisa announces as soon as I walk in. One of Leon's former students, Eliza, agreed to help. She had a similar experience with him. We've staged a little run-in for Mara. She'll accidentally overhear a conversation between Eliza and another dancer about Leon's history. I nod, feeling a twinge of guilt at using someone else's pain as a weapon, but it's quickly smothered by the image of Mara's betrayal. And the digital evidence, I ask, my voice steady. Uploaded and ready to send. It's a compilation of messages, pictures, nothing too explicit, but enough to plant seeds of doubt, Lisa replies, her eyes never leaving mine. She understands the stakes, and her professionalism is both reassuring and chilling. Send it, I say with finality. As Lisa taps her phone, sending the digital package to Mara's email, I can't help but feel like I've crossed an invisible line. There's no going back now. Back home, the evening drags on. Mara is unusually quiet, her face a mask of pensiveness. I know she's received the email. The silence that hangs between us is heavy with its contents. Then, the storm breaks. Why would you send this? Mara confronts me after dinner, her laptop open to the damning email. What is this supposed to prove? That he's not who you think he is, I say calmly, though my heart races with the adrenaline of confrontation. These could be faked, she protests, but there's a tremor of doubt in her voice. They're not. I've verified them. Mara, you need to see Leon for what he really is, I argue, my words sharp as blades. Mara looks away, her fingers trembling slightly. I need to think she whispers, standing up and walking away from me towards our bedroom. Left alone with my thoughts, I feel a hollow victory. Part of me wants to chase after her, to comfort her, but the larger part, the wounded part, holds me back. As I sit in the living room, the doorbell rings unexpectedly. Confused, I open the door to find Derek standing there, a grave look on his face. "We need to talk," he says without preamble, brushing past me into the house. "What's wrong?" I ask, closing the door, a sense of foreboding settling over me. "It's about the plan," Derek starts, then hesitates. "It's working, maybe too well." Mara's not the only one questioning things now. Leon's starting to unravel. He's been asking around, trying to trace back the rumors and the email. Fear knots in my stomach. What does that mean? For the plan? "It means it's getting dangerous," Derek replies, his eyes serious. "Leon's not just a sleazy dance coach. He has connections, and if he finds out we're behind this, things could get ugly." The warning hangs in the air, heavy and ominous. The game I thought I controlled is spiraling, pulling in lives, revealing hidden dangers I hadn't anticipated. "I'll handle it," I say finally, more to reassure myself than Derek. He nods, though it's clear he's not convinced. "Just be careful," he warns before he leaves. Alone again, I consider the unfolding events. The web I've woven is more intricate and dangerous than I planned. As I head to bed, the full weight of the consequences presses down on me. Whatever comes next, I've set it in motion, and there's no escaping it. The next few days are a blur of tension and whispered phone calls. Mara becomes more withdrawn, the shadows under her eyes deepening. She's been talking to Leon, I'm sure, but neither of them confronts me directly. My heart is a battleground. Relief at not being discovered mixes with an ever-growing regret for the chaos I've unleashed. As I pull into the driveway one evening, the front door swings open abruptly, and Mara steps out, her posture rigid with resolve. I brace myself for a confrontation, for accusations, and perhaps even an admission of her own guilt. But what she says next knocks the air from my lungs. "We need to talk." Inside, she states flatly, turning on her heel and heading back into the house without waiting for a response. Inside, the living room feels colder than usual. Mara sits on the edge of the couch, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. I sit across from her, ready to defend, to argue, to do whatever is necessary. "Mara, She cuts me off with a raised hand. "I spoke to Leon, and then I spoke to Lisa." Her voice is steady, but her eyes are ice. "I know everything about the emails, the staged encounters, even about Eliza." The room spins slightly as I process her words. "How did you?" "I wasn't born yesterday," she interrupts. "I knew something was off when I got that email. It felt staged, manipulative. So I confronted Leon, and he was as shocked as I was genuinely shocked. That's when I knew. Knew what I manage, though I can already feel the ground shifting beneath me. That this was your doing. You went to extraordinary lengths to hurt me, to punish me for something you thought I did." Her voice cracks just a little. "Why didn't you just talk to me, David? If you were feeling insecure, we could have." "Insecure?" I echo, anger rising. "I saw you kissing him, Mara. How should I have reacted?" "That's what this is really about," she says quietly. "You saw one moment, taken out of context, and built an entire narrative around it. Leon was saying goodbye, David. He's moving to another city, got a better job. The kiss, it was a goodbye, nothing more. He's been a good friend and a great coach. That's all." The simplicity and honesty of her explanation slice through my anger, leaving cold, hard shame in its place. I look at her, really look at her, and see the hurt I've caused. "And you," she continues, her voice stronger now, "you decided to destroy everything based on one moment you didn't even understand." "I'm sorry," I murmur, the words inadequate for the magnitude of my mistake. Mara nods, tears glistening in her eyes. "I know you are, and I'm sorry too for not making things clearer, for not seeing how my actions might have looked. But what you've done, I need some time to think about us, about what's left of us." I nod, unable to speak through the tightness in my throat. As Mara stands up and walks slowly to our bedroom, closing the door softly behind her, I'm left to ponder the ruins of my own making. In the silent house, I realize that the intrigue, The mystery I thought I was unraveling was actually my own insecurity and jealousy spinning out of control. The plan I set into motion to expose a truth only uncovered a more painful one: that my inability to trust, to communicate, was the real threat to our marriage. Days turn into weeks, and slowly, the frost between us thaws. We start talking, really talking, about everything that led up to that fateful night. It's not easy, and the path to rebuilding is strewn with the debris of our past mistakes, but we both commit to walking it together. In the end, the truth about Leon and the web of deception I wove brought us to a brink, but it also opened a door to a deeper understanding between us. Sometimes the hardest lessons are the ones that ultimately save us.